If you were stranded on a desert island and you could only take one book with you, what book would you pick? And if someone had asked you that question maybe, almost 10 years ago, would that pick still be the same? Would it hold today? So no cheating, no backups. That's what we're doing today. We're going to be diving into the Under the Covers archive, and I'm going to be pulling some videos from 2018 where Suzanne, Angela, and myself picked one book each that we would want to get stranded on a desert island with. That means we would want to reread that book over and over and over. I am happy to report that we would actually still like to reread the books that we mentioned in those videos, even if yes, maybe there might be some favorites that might change, and maybe we would have changed it with something new now, but that still means that the books that we did pick are books that we absolutely love. So if you're ready to take a trip down memory lane with us, but also get some great recommendations for some absolute must-read books, and spoiler alert, they are all in the paranormal genre, then stick around and let's see what each of us picked then, and let's reminisce together, but also let's chat in the comments. Did you read these books, or what would you actually want to be stranded on a desert island with? So let's kick things off first with Suzanne's video. Let's see what 2018 Suzanne picked as her desert island book.
So I don't think that the book that I chose will be a particular surprise. It is my all-time favourite series, so I was going to cheat and pick the series, but I decided no, I'm going to pick one book in the series that was my ultimate favourite, but just know I love every book in this series, so it was a really hard decision. So the book that I have chosen, here it is, Magic Strikes by Elena Andrews. Sorry, I can't see if you can see it, the sun's reflecting today. It's nice and sunny for a change in the UK. So, yeah, Magic Strikes is my favourite of the Kate Daniel series. This is one where they go into an arena. I just love it. I don't know what it is about this particular book. It's kind of where the romance between Kate and Curran takes a turn. And there's also the action within kind of the gladiator ring thing that they're in. I just really love this book. I mean, I love every book, but this one is a particular favourite. As you can see, it's a little bit old and dog-eared. I'm not even sure if this is my first copy or my second copy of this book. I've read it many times. The Kate Daniel series is one that I adore. It's always on any favourite list that I do. Kate Daniels or Curran, the hero in this, or the series itself, will make an appearance because it's fantastic. It's got a great heroine, Kate Daniels, who this book is told from her point of view. She's kind of kick-ass, which I like about a heroine, but she's really insightful and intelligent as well. I just really like her. And then there's Curran, the hero, who you just can't help falling in love with. And then there's the action and the plot and the world that Elena Andrews has created, which is so imaginative. I really, really enjoy it. So if you want an urban fantasy and you haven't tried the Kate Daniel series, you do need to give it a try. I'm pretty sure it's a condition of friendship is that you try this book. I have bullied everyone on Under the Covers to read it, and they all have, so I highly recommend that you give it a go too. And Magic Strikes is my favourite in the series. If you've read this, please let me know what you think. See if you agree with me as well. What's your favourite book in the Kate Daniel series?
So here's the thing. I am not surprised at all that Suzanne picked a Kate Daniels book, because if you know Suzanne at all, if you've been around Under the Covers for any length of time, you know that Suzanne lives and breathes Kate Daniels and Elena Andrews in general. But I have to say that I also really, really love that series. It is a must read if you like urban fantasy. Definitely check it out. And even if you haven't read urban fantasy, I think that it is accessible enough for you to get into it. And it does have a nice romance thread throughout the series as well. So if you are more of a romance reader, maybe like a paranormal romance or a fantasy romance reader, I think this is a great compromise as well. The world building is just amazing. You're going to get a really good, solid story. So if you're getting a little bit bored with all of the same old, especially now with romantasy, this is a good, solid, older series that has everything you could want. Really good plot, action, great characters, nice romance as well. Like, it just has everything. And also, fun fact, if you talk to Suzanne today, she will talk about that series and even about that book or about Kate Daniels just as passionate as she was then. And yes, it is still a condition of friendship. So now that we've listened to Suzanne, let's roll the tape on my pick from 2018 and see what I was thinking. I didn't want to go with the obvious, which seems like I'm always talking about one of my favorite authors, which is J.R. Ward. And then I crossed that off the list. I went to historical romance, which was kind of weird for me to like make that one of the books that I would want to really take on a deserted island. But I immediately thought of Lisa Kleypas, because any book by Lisa Kleypas would be the perfect book to just get lost in the pages and just forget reality. I knew for a fact I didn't want it to be a contemporary romance because I often don't want to reread contemporary romances. But as is to be expected, I finally came back to paranormal romance, which is what I love best. And I wanted to pick something that had humor in it. That's usually what I tend to reread the most. So basically my pick is actually a series, but I'm going to be talking about one book in particular. But I'm picking the Immortals After Dark series by Kresley Cole. Now I really struggle with which book to pick from the series to talk to you guys about, and the one that I would actually be taken with me to that deserted island. I love every single one of the books in this series. I love the whole set of characters. I've even reread some of them, which is saying a lot for me. So first I thought that I would be talking about the one that I think that I've reread the most and the one that I have warm, fuzzy feelings for, and that is Sebastian's book, No Rest for the Wicked. Now I should probably mention that I do own this whole series in 3 different formats. I have the ebooks, the audiobooks, which are really, really good. If you haven't listened to this series on audio and you're looking for an audiobook recommendation, I highly suggest the Immortals After Dark series on audio. But Sebastian's story is always one that warms my heart, because with the way vampires have to find their mates or their true mates, and how they're sort of not alive really until that moment, it's always a cute read to revisit this story. But with my humor, which is something that I really look forward to reading in this series, and something that probably would keep me company in a deserted island, I also need a little bit of badass. So finally I had to go with the one and only Lothair. So Lothair is actually a vampire as well in this series. So if you don't know about the Immortals After Dark series, there's all kinds of different supernatural creatures, and Lothair just happens to be another vampire. I know I've talked about 2 of the vampires in this series, but he is actually a bad guy throughout most of the beginning of this series, and then he finally gets his HEA in this book, and I just really loved his personality, all the things that we learn about his character in this book. I loved the spark between him and his heroine. I feel like this book was also a little bit more intense than some of the sweeter ones at the beginning of the series. It has a really exciting storyline. And like I said, you really can't go wrong with being in the company of Lothair. So I do find that this is probably the perfect pick from the series if I had to just pick one book. But like I said, I love every single one of the books in this series, and they're all perfect reads for when you just want something to boost your mood and make you laugh and make you swoon. There's lots of great heroes in this series. Also a lot of kick-ass female characters. The heroines are amazing. I just love the sense of friendship that this group of characters really has developed throughout the series. So if you like your paranormal stories with a wide variety of paranormal creatures, with the big overall story arc that's really exciting and it develops further with each book in the series, amazing characters, amazing chemistry, great humor, then definitely you'll want to pick up the Immortals After Dark series. Just know that Lothair is mine. Don't you find it weird when you look at either pictures or videos of yourself from years ago? That's kind of how I'm feeling right now. But I have to say, I am still standing 10 toes down with Lothair, because he is just that like morally gray bad boy hero, and I absolutely love him. So I think I would still take him on my deserted island. I think that would still be my pick, because that book does embody all the things that I love. It has the humor from the Immortals After Dark series, but it does have the badassery. And obviously, you know, for a heroine to be able to go toe-to-toe with a hero like that, she can't be a pushover. And that is one of the things I love about Kresley Cole's heroines, is that they are not pushovers. I recently, as of this year, read Kresley Cole's newest book, which is called Shadow's Heart, and it is part of the Immortals After Dark series. And Fun fact, in that book, we do get a lot of Lothair in it because the heroine is, and if I remember correctly, she is Lothair's niece, or she is some sort of relation to Lothair, and she gets imprisoned. So basically, it's her story and her finding her fated mate and all that, but she is imprisoned, and her mate are basically escaping that prison. But also, Lothair is coming to the rescue. So we do get some parts of the story that are written from Lothair's point of view, which I absolutely adored. It was so nice to revisit him as a character, but seeing him more in kind of his old ways, like if he has to leave somebody to die that is not important to him, he has his priorities straight. So he's not going to waste time with something that is not going to drive his point and his goals forward. And sometimes it's fun to read a character that's ruthless like that. So I cannot recommend Lothair enough. So if you have not read the Immortals After Dark series, I definitely recommend you check it out. You do need, in my opinion, to read them in order, only because throughout the series there is an overarching storyline that is developing. There is kind of like a ongoing war, let's say, that is happening. So you do need to kind of follow through on those threads, even though each one has a complete HEA. So in terms of the romance, you're going to get a resolution at the end of each book, but the overall plot of the world building, that does take place throughout the whole series. So read them in order. Don't worry, I think they're all worth it. Sure, there's going to be books you like more than others. I will say probably the first book might be the one that's hardest to kind of get into, especially in today's day and age. There are some questionable, slightly problematic things in that first book especially, but believe me, just go past that, especially when you're getting the shifters. They are very shifter alpha males, but at the same time, you get also the really sweet heroes. There's some really sweet vampires, some really sweet demons. Like, it's just really, really adorable. It's a nice blend of really badass action and just great, strong world building with great humor, because you're going to be laughing the whole time, but also plenty of spice and lots of sweetness as well. So cannot recommend that series enough. It definitely still holds true today. But now let's get into the last one, which is Angela's pick. So what was Angela taking to her desert island in 2018?
This was a really tough one for me. I kept on thinking about it the past couple of days, and I just couldn't decide on a book. I did pick out 3. I wanted to talk to you about those 3 books and why. The first book that I thought of is Sherilyn Kenyon's Acheron. I thought of this book first and foremost is because, well, I love the book and I can read it over and over. It is also a book about Acheron, who pretty much goes through hell, and despite the hell that he's gone through, he came out kicking and screaming, and he actually found love. I'm big on romance, so it would have to be a romance book, and this is definitely one of the best books I've read. But then I thought twice about it because it is a little bit depressing. It goes through pretty much his life and how bad it got. So I'm like, okay, well, no, probably not a good choice. The second book that I thought of was Sarah J. Maas, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now, this book was amazing, and I thought it would be perfect because it's a story about a girl who crosses over to the magical land. Well, I thought it was perfect because while being on a deserted island, I thought it'd be cool to think that there could be a magical world within that island, and maybe, just maybe, I'd find myself a fairy who would take care of me. I don't know. But then I thought, oh, the second book I did not like so much. So if I was on a deserted island and this is the only book that I have, well, I'd probably be thinking, okay, well, after I finished this book, I knew what was going to happen next. So yeah, I had to toss that one out. So I really had to step back and really think what book I would like to have if I was on a deserted island. It would have to be a book that I could read over and over, something that would lift me up, something that's not too depressing. And of course, it would have to be a romance novel. And that book would be J.R. Ward's Dark Lover. Mind you that this topic has come up several times, and this book is what I end up picking anyway. This book has all the properties that I would need in a deserted island. I think it would lift me up. I think it would make me laugh. It has romance. Obviously, I'm a big romance reader, so I would have to have that. And bottom line, I could just read this over and over and over. Plus wrath. Like, how can you not bring wrath in the deserted island with you, right?
Now, I know all of the Roseanne fans are going to be coming for Angela now, but I have to say, I think that Angela would still be fine with taking Dark Lover because she's a massive wrath girl still. I mean, just the other day we were talking about her watching the TV adaptation that's on Passionflix, which I'm hoping that since we actually had recorded a chat about our thoughts on season 1 of the Black Dagger Brotherhood on Passionflix, but we lost some of our files. So I think we're going to be re-recording that and bringing Angela along to give us also her take on what she thinks about them adapting Dark Lover, being that she loved the book so much. I mean, I love it too. Who am I kidding? But I think that she would still probably be fine with picking this one. Now, would maybe that change now? Possibly. I think maybe Fourth Wing has a better shot at being something that she would take, but you know, I think that Dark Lover is still pretty safe, solid choice, and that would still hold up today. I recently reread the book, and if you guys want to check out my chat with Jen on rereading Dark Lover last year in 2024, so we get into some of the things that we notice now versus our first time reading the book. And actually, I have now reread that book, I think at least 4 times, 3 or 4 times. So I think definitely this is a solid choice. And if you have not read the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, I mean, what are you doing with your life? You need to be reading that series. Absolutely. But on a side note too, like also the books that Angela talked about before. So Acheron, that is a must read as well. If you haven't read Cheryl and Kenyon and you do like some dark tortured souls, definitely that is the series for you. Her heroes go through some stuff, and that may be your jam. If you like to see some men suffer, then Cheryl and Kenyon does it better than anyone else for sure. But I definitely think that this would still hold up today for Angela. But yeah, that was revisiting 2018 and what we would pick, and actually recommending some amazing series for you guys, because I think you need to go now and read all of these series, especially if you like things with some paranormal elements in them that are really, really solid with world building, with really meaty kind of plots, and that are really going to transport you into worlds that are really good, characters that are really strong and solid. And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like there's not a lot of newer series that really dive as deep into characters and world building and storylines as much as they used to before. So I definitely think you should add all of these to your list. If you have any questions about any of these books, leave them in the comments. We have tons of material on the blog as well for all of these series that I just talked about, so you can go and search over there as well. I will leave a couple of links down below in case you want some. But now I would love to hear from you guys, so leave me a comment and let me know if you've read any of the books that we talked about in this video. Did you enjoy them? But also let me know what book you would bring to a desert island with you if you only had a choice of one. So leave those in the comments. I can't wait to see what are your picks. But in the meantime, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. And as always, there's even more paranormal books here at Under the Covers, so you know you can always find more recommendations as well. So I'm going to leave some links here so you can check those out too. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.